Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show's 2-minute post-game report for the Cleveland Browns versus the Miami Dolphins. If you are in this chat watching us right now, you need serious help. So does everyone else who watched the Cleveland Browns play the Miami Dolphins today. There's still 2 minutes to go. The Browns have the ball, but they trailed by 17 points. And based on the first 58 minutes of the game, I'm not sure how anyone could have confidence DTR can lead not one, not two, but three scoring drives in the matter of 120 seconds. Earl G, let's just get right into it. There have been a lot of bad quarterbacks in a Browns uniform since they returned to Cleveland in '99, and nothing we saw from DTR can give anyone confidence that he is any part of the answer, any part of the backup answer, any part of the backup's backup answer. G, you said he looked like an XFL quarterback last week, and maybe that was too high a praise for DTR because I don't know what the hell we saw today. All I know is it was an abomination to anyone who had seen offensive football being played over the last 2 decades.
He need to move to slot receiver immediately if he wants to save any part of his career. He needs to just turn his playbook in, walk across the aisle, and just say, "Listen, let me get all the route trees y'all got." And I'm not talking about throwing you the route. He need to be out there on Instagram running with Route God, trying to get off press release. He's done. He is not, and I thought it was disrespectful for what my man Sean King said. He said for some people, actually getting the opportunity to play is a bad thing for them. And we have all seen right now. I mean, they cut Snoop Huntley, and for DTR, and we got a direct comparison look at what that looks like. And I'm like, Andrew Berry, I mean, are you just closing your eyes and going any, mini, miny, mo? I'll just take you. Are you just close? Earl, come on.
And I'm not exaggerating, man. I think DTR might be worse than Johnny Manziel. I'm not even joking now, bro.
He is. Wait.
This might be the worst quarterback I ever see. DTR, the R stand for release tomorrow. Because, man, what are you doing, bro? Like, listen, bro, you this many games into your NFL career, you still ain't got one touchdown pass. I know you lying. As far as Andrew Berry is concerned, listen, hey, to the Snoop point, man, what he threw for like over 220 in a touchdown. Very efficient game from him. Andrew Berry don't know how to identify talent
at all.
Let's just call a spade a spade. My man don't know how to identify talent for real. Yeah, he get lucky every now and then when he make these trades, and I can give him those feathers and those caps. But overall, bro, this is horrible, man. This is bad. This is bad on every level of bad. But here's the hindsight, man. The Browns are probably gonna get their ass kicked next week. So at least we'll finish this season with a top 3 pick.
So when you go back and I did this morning because I wanted to be prepared in case this was a situation. I read Mary Kay. I read Zach Jackson. I read ESPN Cleveland. I went to all the training camp reports. And there was one consistent thing across training camp, and that was that everyone said DTR had the best camp of any of the Browns quarterbacks. And if that's the case, there are certain players. I played with the guy, and I'll give you a little quick story. He coaches in the NBA now, so I don't want to say his name. But if you came to watch Emerson practice my freshman year, you'd say, how the hell is that 6'7" guy playing D3? He's a D1 player. Then if he came to watch us in a game, you say, how the hell is that 6'7" guy playing D3 basketball? He looks like he should be on a JV high school team. Incredible practice player, horrific game player. There was no rhyme or reason as to why it worked and played so well in a non-pressure situation and was so incompetent in a legitimate game situation. DTR played 50-something games in college, started them all. How he doesn't feel the rush, how he can't see any kind of defense. He seems like he's a chicken without a head running back there on every single snap. I can't fathom what he must have done in training camp or how much the Browns paid every reporter, which I know didn't really happen, but for them all to come away with the same conclusion that guy was better than everyone else they had. I can't fathom it, G. I don't understand. I didn't go out there once. So I'm just telling you what I read and what we were told. I did not go out there once. I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes. But how in the world was that guy outperforming Jameis, Deshaun Watson, and the guy he was facing today throughout camp? I have no clue. And either we were all fugazi, either DTR is a practice magician and a horrible game quarterback, or all the above. I have no idea. But it's painful to watch Browns football right now. And if you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. The Browns don't have any semblance of a signal caller you can feel confident in right now.
Man, I just don't see how Jimmy Haslam can go back at the end of the season when the season concludes next week and tell the fan base, like he told us in November, that he's going to run it back with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. The writing is all over the wall, man. Like, this experiment failed, right? This regime failed to build a Super Bowl caliber team, and it is what it is. You got to tear this thing down to the studs and start all the way over. We've made this point a couple times. Now, if Jimmy Haslam and Paul DePodesta got their hand that much in the ring, okay, cool. Then you really do need to go hire a head coach and general manager combination that can really stand up to Jimmy and kind of push back a little bit more than what Kevin and Andrew do. Or I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is, like, this is bad. The fans don't deserve this. And not only do we not have a signal caller, the Browns don't really got a concept of a plan of how they're going to turn this team around and make this team competitive in 2025.
And let's get to this. You know, you guys thought you were off the hook. It's just one of those bad years, 3-12, they happen. If you're in the media and you're putting the cape on for Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, maybe you just like them. I don't know, maybe you talk to them all the time. Maybe you like the way their beard looks. Maybe you think that you got a good relationship with them and you don't want to start another relationship. But you have no reason to ever sit here and think there's nothing to point to. You're below 500 now. You guys have had examples and examples and examples. You know who's good at their job? Myles freaking Garrett with another 3 sacks a day. If you want to stand up and talk about trading Myles Garrett because you want to keep the coach, you're ridiculous. You don't know and maybe we should just start going to training camp, because I'm tired of people telling me at training camp, so-and-so look good. I don't know what you're looking at, because we end up with 3-12. Now, look, maybe you guys can come on and say, and let's say it all in unison. It was all Deshaun Watson. Maybe if you keep, let's bring it back down. When they say, I don't know if you guys are having chat group meetings. Now, listen, when we say we have the most pre-snap penalties, we can't really say it was Kevin or undisciplined nature. We have to say, oh, hey, I got one. Let's just say it was Deshaun in the cloud that was over Berea that made people jump up. Boy, if you don't stop playing games, you're 3-12, and I don't trust you making picks. I don't trust you that you're going to coach up the right picks. I don't want Travis Hunter to come here to sit on the sideline and hang out. Travis isn't going to play this week. We're going to put him down, and we're going to put Travis on special teams, and he's going to play gunner. He's going to start gunner for us. Shut up. I don't want these dudes nowhere near no top 3 picks. I need all new guys. And Jimmy Haslam, I'm telling you right now, we on you all off season. You get no more reprieves. The Browns look good. No, we're on you all off season. I'm sorry.
Well, gee, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not sure if you saw the report from Ian Rappaport this weekend, but all indications point to Berry and Stefanski being safe. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm just telling you that seems to be the general consensus coming from the national media right now. And one tidbit from the Rappaport note that I thought was incredibly disturbing. I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but essentially Mike Vrabel has been the de facto offensive line coach for the last month and a half. They didn't announce it. They just kind of were so displeased with the offensive line play. They let Vrabel start running the offensive line meetings and him being the de facto offensive line coach. And that's going to leave a giant void when he gets a head coaching job this summer. To me, the whole situation just screams dysfunction.
Really?
And the report, well, yeah, it not just screams dysfunction, it has it tattooed across its forehead. None of it makes sense to me. It is, to me, a situation where a fresh start is probably needed. And I just don't think that's what's going to be the actual outcome. And that's disappointing, because if you do poorly at your job, and whether you think Kevin Stefanski is a good coach, bad coach, he has done an objectively horrific job this year, considering they now have tied for the worst record in football. Gee, you kept saying 3-12. They're 3-13, by the way. Don't give them that much credit. They're 3-13. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt of one extra game that's not in the loss column. There should be consequences, and it doesn't appear that there's going to be any significant consequences for the Browns having one of the most disappointing seasons in recent NFL memory. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. This is a team that was labeled as having a top 5 roster in the National Football League before the first game of the season. And as we sit here today, it is a complete, utter dumpster fire with no clear route of escape.
Let me ask you this question, Earl. If you was a top pick, top 3 pick in the draft, and they told you this was the regime that was going to be here, they also told you they was making no changes, what would you say? I wouldn't come here. You just have to be mad at me. If I knew I was getting drafted by somebody, I'm not doing it. Don't draft me. I will sit out. Don't play with me.
I think it depends on the player and how they're built, right? Some of these dudes have a chip on their shoulder to where they want to be the savior. They want to be that quarterback that's going to come in and change everything around. And when you look at the Cleveland Browns, if you look at the history since 1999, whoever that dude might be that ultimately comes in and takes over and is the dude that lead us to the promised land, then like, man, he's getting a statue while he's still playing in the NFL. But it's funny. I want the fans to do this. I want y'all to do this. I just went to ESPN.com and I hit refresh, and then I did the whole win percentage thing. Guess who has the number one pick right now as it stands in the NFL draft?
The Patriots.
No, the Cleveland Browns.
Patriots are the first pick right now.
It shows Cleveland, Tennessee second, New England third. It'll come down to strength of schedule.
Unless that has changed since the Tankathon update from 3 minutes ago. But either way, they're the top 3 pick. They're in contention for the top 3 picks.
It's just one of those things, man. You're right, Mike. It should be consequences for this being the case, but there is none, and there will not be none. And so, again, I've had this take for quite some time. The Browns continue to put lipstick on the pig, put it out in front of us and tell us to kiss it. I just think at this point, the fans is not doing that no more. Apathy is real. And this year they had real expectations, meaning the fan base that this team could go compete for a Super Bowl. And the Browns was exposed to not even showing like they wasn't capable of that this year. But this team is nowhere near close to being a Super Bowl caliber team. I think it's deeper than somebody tweeted, sent the super chat in at G saying, like, if we had decent quarterback play. I think our issues is much deeper than decent quarterback play. And I think our issues is much deeper than just player personnel, to be quite honest. Mike said, like, it's total dysfunction throughout the entire organization. And as long as that's the case, then we're going to be in this situation. It hit a whole lot different when you go from a playoff team that just and then you turn around the next year and just win 3 games, right? Like, it's a couple teams that made the playoffs last year that ain't this bad. This is bad. So.
And Mike, you go back to the super chat. We're one decent quarterback away. That's what you've been told that for the last 30 years. And what happens is when you start to hold on to that, you just start looking and focusing on that quarterback, and you start to say, well, if we can get this quarterback thing together, we'll be all right. No, that has nothing to do with your run game. And the more disappointing thing that I'm looking at is you knew something was up with your run game all off season. You had to make Mike Vrabel go over there and get the whole offensive line together when you were the one who hired the run coordinator. I was the only one in the media saying you hired a guy that would never coached in the NFL to be your run game coordinator from UConn. Remember, that was this guy. I just like to hear myself talk, though. Then I said, this dude, I'm watching the camp, and I'm saying, why are you guys not being able to go to the next level? Why is this guy laughing and joking with the offensive lineman? Why everybody is sitting around here with helmets on like it's a tea party? And then you wonder why you can't run the football and you getting your quarterbacks hit in the backfield. So that is on Kevin Stefanski. Nobody told him to make those 2 hires. Nobody said to do that. He's in control of who he puts on his staff, and he made a bad decision. That decision cost them dearly. So, we could go around and point the finger at everybody else to make ourselves feel better, like we one quarterback away, whatever you guys want to do. Hey, if you're a fan, you're a fan. I get it. You just want something to pass the time. But if you're a serious football person and you look at this roster, no serious football person can look at this roster and say that it's one player away, one position group away. No. It is a complete trash heap right now, and that's why you got to where you're at.
Gee, when I look at this whole organization top to bottom, this year, let's just focus on 2024 this season, right? Roster wasn't as talented as we thought it was, and you brought in an entire draft class that gave you one semi-contributor in Mike Hall. Fail on the upper management part. Coaching top to bottom from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, from a game planning, from a discipline, failure all around, right? You go to the players on the field. We talked about it last week. Jerry Jeudy overperformed expectations. Myles Garrett did what Myles Garrett does. Denzel Ward played well. Other than that, did anyone else really outperform what we expected? I think maybe I'm missing one just off the top of my head, but for the most part, everyone underperformed and undersaw what we thought they could be this year. From top to bottom, this was a catastrophic miss by everyone involved with the Cleveland Browns in terms of taking that next step forward. This was a playoff team last year. Earl, you predicted them to make the AFC Championship. We all thought they could take that next step forward with some more consistency at the quarterback position. They didn't get it. Deshaun wasn't what we thought he was going to be. Jameis had his ups and downs. DTR certainly not it. And now we are sitting here an entire season removed from being in the playoffs, or 17 weeks in. We have one more game to go. Looking at a team with a million questions and no clear solutions and no clear path. Why? Because we don't even know if the people in charge of making those changes to get this team on the right direction again are capable of doing that. So there's not a single thing you can look at and say, I feel confident about this moving forward, other than Myles Garrett's an elite defensive player. That's about it, right? Like outside of that, I don't know if we have confidence in any single position group being better next year, or confidence in the people making the decisions to improve the position groups that need to be improved. Gee, it's a mess. And like I said, it's the third time I'll say it on this 15-minute program so far. There's no clear, easy direction out unless you cut the head off the snake and start over. And it doesn't appear like that's the move they're going to make, according to the reports this weekend. It's a disgusting situation to be in, and it sucks that this is where we're at. But it's kind of just the reality right now. We're going to have to figure out a way to make it as entertaining as possible for UCSS over the next 3, 4, 5 months until the draft.
Well, at least you'll get to talk about and debate back and forth about who's going to make the Browns better, because there's going to be some people who, even if you do have a top 3 pick, will not want any parts of a quarterback, because secretly, I think people realize that we don't have a good track record of developing or picking the right quarterback. So you're going to have some people that are going to say, let's trade down, let's get a left tackle, let's get some more picks to find it. Some people are going to want to go defense. Some people are going to say, okay, we got Travis Hunter. And then some people will say, oh, we got Travis Hunter, but do I really trust that the Browns are going to put him in a position to be a playmaker? So the Browns still aren't out of the woods. We got a high pick, but now there's a lot of different ways you can look at this thing and skin a cat. For me, I look at it from a perspective of saying, look, they might want to find and identify a quarterback and just say, listen, we're going to go with him. For me, Deshaun Watson is out. DTR is not even a question. Jameis Winston, I mean, I don't know how you could roll that back. They have to have a plan. I don't know, Justin Fields. I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins. I don't know what you got going. But right now, the best way to do something is to find a quarterback and just roll with it. I mean, because right now, the worst thing in the world is a competition next year with guys coming back into camp trying to duel for a position. I think you just need to come with something.
Earl?
I mean,
he's speechless. That's how bad the Browns are, that they've left Earl the Pearl speechless. The man is paid to talk. They've captured his soul.
You just look at it like you need a quarterback. And I don't know if Justin Fields, I mean, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm staying in Pittsburgh. If I'm Sam Darnold, why am I coming to the Cleveland Browns? I don't personally want Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins is no better than what we have on our roster when it comes to Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston, to be totally honest with you. I think pretty much all fall in the same. DTR is currently not a part of the plan. So, you probably are going to end up, if you're in the top 3, man, you're going to take a quarterback. That's just the nature of it, right? You about to end up with Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders and let somebody trade up. That's just going to be the nature of the beast. And we'll see what happens from there. You got to start somewhere, man. But this team ain't going nowhere and ain't going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
So according to Tankathon right now, G, real quick, according to Tankathon right now, New England has the first pick, Tennessee has the second pick, Cleveland has the third, and the Giants have the 4th pick. New England's not going to take a quarterback. They have Drake May, took them top 4 last year. Tennessee needs a quarterback and Cleveland needs a quarterback. So unless a team trades up to New England's spot, the Browns should be in line, if they want, to Earl's point, to be able to draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, which would be a risky preposition, but how often do you have a top 3 pick in a position to take a quarterback without having to give up extra assets?
Where is Las Vegas at in this thing?
Vegas
they won again today.
So.
Vegas has fallen to number 8.
Oh, well, I mean, they do got a chance to kind of like, what teams do you see, Mike? This is a little like an early view. What candidates do you think could be involved in moving up for a quarterback?
The Giants, who won today, still need a quarterback. I don't think Jacksonville would take a quarterback. They just signed Trevor Lawrence to a big contract. Carolina is in the 6th spot right now. They have Bryce Young. I can't imagine they'd take a quarterback. Right. The Jets, I think they're going to run it back with Aaron Rodgers. And if you're going to do it with Rodgers, then you can't waste a pick on a quarterback. You have to get him an offensive lineman, a weapon, someone on defense. And then the Raiders at 8 and the Saints at 10 would be the next 2 most logical teams to trade up. But you have 3 teams sitting in the top 4, Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants, that all legitimately need quarterbacks, and there's only 2 available. So you could play a little bit of a bidding game if the Browns aren't in love with either of them and try and trade back and get an additional first-round pick next year.
Don't it seem like this is ironic? It's ironic, Earl, that the analytics part of the building gets a chance to really show what their analytics is about. Because look, you got it's musical chairs here. There's a lot of ways the Cleveland Browns can go about trying to get better. They can move back. They can try to play the waiting game. I'm interested in seeing what their approach will be, because if I'm looking at it, the Browns, if for one off season, and this hasn't happened a lot, they can come away with a numerous amount of people. So get ready to write those graphics. Y'all's graphics got to be fire. It could be tackles, receivers, trade back. So you'll see what D Podesta and them come up with, man.
What D Podesta and them come up with, huh? See.
Get them boys ready.
You guys want to get to some super chats?
Yes, sir.
Let's knock this out, man.
We're going to say goodbye to our Bleacher Report audience. We appreciate everybody for tuning in on the Bleacher Report app. If you like what you saw here, you can find us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to get to those super chats here on the YouTube stream. So we appreciate you tuning in on Bleacher Report. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Bleacher Report crossover. All right, guys, time to get to some super chats. We have 13 super chats. First one comes from Rashawn Richardson, who says they should have kept Huntley and cut DTR. Hey, it's crazy, bro. And next one's the same thing. Sapper Daddy, you had Huntley in camp, choose DTR. Wow. They also traded Josh Dobbs last year because of DTR, right? Like, let's just think of the quarterbacks that DTR theoretically beat out in practice and trade. Like, he must be doing something right in camp that's not translating to the actual game, G, because legitimately speaking, Josh Dobbs isn't great, but he's proven capable as a backup quarterback in the NFL. Tyler Huntley, we saw what he could do tonight. He is technically a Pro Bowler and the fakest Pro Bowl nod of all time. And the Browns chose DTR over both those guys. And what we've seen in 2 years from DTR is, frankly, nothing. It looks like me back there. Me and Earl can do the exact same thing DTR did.
It's intoxicating when you draft somebody. That's your pick. So he going to get that nod over Huntley or whoever that you brought in. You didn't draft him. He was just the guy you went out and picked. So obviously you're going to give the nod to the dude that you hand selected. So I just think it's a little bit of a bias that goes into it with general managers. It's just the way it is.
All right, next super chat comes from Blank964. I don't know how anyone could have confidence in DTR leading us from the parking lot to the stadium. Jeffrey Anderson says maybe they put DTR in just to guarantee losses for a higher draft pick. Sapper Daddy says DTR threw an interception so bad, 2 high safeties, didn't see the linebacker and drop coverage. That is basic, man. SG, we talked about this one earlier, said G needs to stop with the sad sack routine. Number 1 pick coming. It'll be fine. Decent quarterback play made us a very competitive team. Dudes need to chill.
He said the same thing 4 years ago, and I screenshotted it. Matter of fact, he said that. I think he's been around for a while. He said that in 2014.
Man, keep going, man. Keep going, Mike.
Yeah, listen. If someone thinks we're just 1 quarterback away, then I don't know what to say. Like,
hey, man, I love y'all, man. Good. Hey, man, it's you. Hey, I hope you're right.
Man is short for fanatic. I hope he's right. Listen, I hope we're wrong and he's right.
I hope Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders come in here and light this thing up and we could drink Kool-Aid again, but I don't know.
Rashawn Richardson says we need an old school head coach. SG says 4 ruined the season. 5 made us decent. 4 is in Watson. 5 is Winston. Relax, G.
Earl, you done ruined everything. I would understand that, man. How does one guy who ain't even there, he's not in the building, like Calais Campbell was getting loose today. The left tackle go to the film room and be like, or ruined it for us all.
This is a response to SG. Sapper Daddy says, anyone who believes we are a quarterback away is a fool. We are weak at left tackle, guard, linebacker, cornerback, quarterback, and now running back. Dog, y'all are sick by saying that we're just a quarterback away. Stop it.
He named he named all the positions: D tackle, left end, right end, safety, slot.
Hey, do you know what I noticed today?
Punter.
Did y'all know Corey Bjorquez was a lefty?
I did know that. I just listen, he punted so many times this season. I just didn't realize it till today. And shout out to Corey Bjorquez, lefty gang. That's crazy.
Next up,
the punter.
Chris Lowry says G. Bush is the real pulse of Cleveland fans. G. Bush, keep telling the owners how we all feel. Evan 419, who put in the chat earlier, I want to add to his super checks. I saw this comment. He said he can't.
Oh, you put some money in on that?
No, but our EP screenshot it and sent it to us. And Evan said in the chat, you can't spell turd without DTR, which I thought was kind of funny. And his actual super chat is, the grass ain't always greener. Why would Vrabel want this drop? Do you trust Haslam to get it right this time with this fourth choice on the list? If they make a change from Stefanski, I can tell you with the utmost confidence, Mike Vrabel will not be the guy to replace Kevin Stefanski. It will not be Mike Vrabel. As much as we may want him, there's no way in hell Vrabel saw what happened this year would decide to sign up for that, right? There's not a chance in hell.
Well, usually it's all about leverage. Like, look, say for instance, he gets real antsy and he says, somebody tells him, like D. Podesta, one of his rich buddies, say, listen, this ain't gonna work. These dudes are clowns. And he gets his heart up and he says, let me go to Vrabel. And Vrabel's like, I see how you treated Kev. I'm not about to do that. And he said, well, listen, I was treating him in a certain way because he's a certain way. Now, look, I'm going to give you powers of the general manager too. I'm going to let you give full write-off, say so on the roster and the picks. Vrabel will turn around in a heartbeat and say, yeah, you signed me up for that. See, when you got the leverage, now, I don't know. I'm with Earl. I don't know. It's cool to say that everybody is safe, but I know Jimmy Haslam. I know him. If he start to get that gumption, that people, he crowd surf and say, hey, what do you think about my coaching staff? If we get 5 or 6 people in a row, they'll be like, this ain't looking good. That man will get up out of there and be right on the phone with these dudes. I'm telling you that right now.
All right, next one comes from the Garage Goober, who says, I reread the 2019 Seth Wickersham piece. The problem is Haslam. His shotgun weddings marry 2 conflicting views in every regime he's built. Stefanski, Watson, Dorsey is an allegogram only Haslam can create.
Okay. I like that.
Next up, Derek Spina says, Dion is not letting Shador come here, shaking my head. Corey says, thanks for the therapy. The Browns this year driving me crazy. Andy says the Browns preach accountability, but the coaches don't hold themselves accountable. And last but not least, we have Kirk Davis, who says we are more than a quarterback away. We need a complete rebuild. Earl, final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up here. G, you're up next, and I'll close this out.
I mean, another week, another loss. The season is over with next week. More than likely, we won't win that game either. I think we are all in agreement. The Browns need to clean house, man, strip this down to the studs, and just do a total rebuild. I really don't have much else to say. The Browns don't give us much to talk about right now, man. Like, it is what it is. The fans deserve better. And I ain't even just joking. I ain't even just trying to be cliche when I say that. Like, the emotional investment, the time, the money that's invested from Cleveland Browns fans every single week into this team, and this is the return on investment that we get. And this economy, like, and, you know, with everything that's going on, like, and that's BS, and they deserve better than that. And all they want to do is keep putting out promos about a damn dome. Like, it's just frustrating. They leave you with nothing to say. So those are my final thoughts.
Yeah. It's gonna be a very interesting off season. I ain't gonna lie, man. This season been hard. This season it took a toll. I need a vacation. When you covering the Browns extensively and as many hours as you do, and you just don't have much to talk about positively, it's just it wears on you a little bit. And I can imagine the people that spending their money to go do that, like people going and spending money, spending time on Sundays doing it. The only thing I can hope for is that they draft somebody who is transcended. And it's hard to find them people. And when I mean transcended is that guy is that dude big enough where it just don't matter. Like the Bengals aren't a good organization. They got Joe Burrow, right? They and right now now they're held accountable. Hey, look at it for the Cavaliers. The Cavs were not a good organization. We got LeBron. And LeBron was there long enough that we got some stuff fixed out and figured out. And then now we look like we're on the second iteration a little bit. So for me, hopefully we could draft somebody that's transcended, maybe find a quarterback that links up with a good coach, and you could do it. But as of now, they're a ways away.
My final thoughts first, it's Carrie, not Corey. My apologies on the super chat for getting the name wrong. Second off, there's only one more week of this. The Ravens are going to be like 21-point favorites. The Ravens have to win the game to clinch the division. The Browns obviously have no interest in winning the game in terms of draft position. And as it stands right now, Cleveland has the third pick. Tennessee is the second. Tennessee needs a quarterback. So maybe it's a good thing. The quarterback dilemma, Ward or Sanders, let Tennessee pick. They have a horrible track record of picking quarterbacks too. Hopefully they pick the wrong one and the right one falls into Cleveland's lap. That'd be the best case scenario. We don't trust Barrett to make the pick. Let's just hope the guys in Tennessee are stupid enough to mess it up, and then we just take whoever they don't get. It worked pretty well for the Texans 2 years ago. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Houston had the first overall pick. They win that Week 17 game, and they end up allowing Carolina to pick the wrong quarterback, even though Bryce Young has looked better of late. You get what I'm saying, G? Maybe you just got to let Tennessee do all the diligence, do all the legwork, hope they screw it up, and then you're the beneficiary of having the second pick. It's the only way I'm trying to rationalize this season in my head, but it's been terrible. I can tell you with the utmost confidence, we're not doing a quarterback breakdown with Sean King on this DTR performance. Not a chance in hell. We need to go over what we saw today. I'm not sure I could find 3 passes over 6 yards that we could break down anyway. So we got two more super chats real quick. CMG31 says, preach Earl. And Brooklyn Boy says, y'all see your faces right now. Y'all gonna have the same faces next year if you want that top quarterback for 2026. He's not wrong. If they want a top quarterback in 2026, Arch Manning, it's going to be another tough season. But we'll deal with that when we get there. That's going to wrap it up for this Week 17 edition of the 2-Minute Warning post-game show for the Browns. For Earl, for G. Bush, I'm Mikey McNuggets. We'll see y'all tomorrow on UCSS. Peace.